The Your Voice in Power Hour on the My Voice in Power show for Unity Live Radio. Now it's time for the Your Voice in Power Hour, and the voice in power tonight is Simeon Howell. Simeon is a local ex-football player and now runs S6 Academy for young footballers in Reading. So, hello Sim, how are you today?
Yeah, very good, nice to be here.
Cool. Could you tell us a bit then about, I don't know, your football career, how you got started and how it led to you becoming an organiser and what you're doing now?
Yeah, so if we I started up briefly from the beginning. So I started off at, All Saints, infant school. And it's like most people was just in the playground playing with friends and stuff. And I remember them days, like all my friends had teams from early, like 5 years old and stuff, but I was in the playground, running around toe punting here and there and that. And then went on to my next school, English Martyrs, and one of my best friends at the time, Craig McGivern, he said to me to come along to a team. And I always remember it, like, I went to a park, mum took me, didn't drive or anything, got there, and that one particular day they happened to be training they were supposed to train in Kenton, they were training in Prospect Park. So got there, waited half an hour, like, oh, where's everyone? No one turned up. Went home, like, whatever. Went back to school and Craig said, oh, sorry, we train in Prospect Park, but we're back next week. So next week, so me and Mum went to Prospect Park. No, they'd gone back to Kenton. So that was it. Mum's like, no, I'm not going again. That was it for about a year. And then about a year later, then joined another team. Media Youth was it. And yeah, loved it and just obsessed ever since. Played grassroots, as in like Midway for a couple of years. And then I was back down Kenton, which was my local. And some guy used to run a little school. It's kind of like what I do now. And we all went along playing. I think it was school kids from 8 years old all the way up to about 10. And I was running around, and I think I picked up the ball, ran past about 3 or 4 players, scored. Didn't think nothing of it, and the guy was like, after saying, was like, "Mate, good. Like, who do you play for?" I was like, "Oh, Midway." He was like, "Oh, do you mind if I talk to your dad?" Obviously, back in them days, no mobile phones, nothing.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
He was like, "It sounds a bit weird." He was like, "Oh," but it obviously wasn't. He was like, "Oh, so I have to follow you back home." So he followed me home. Spoke to my dad, and that was it. Took me to Reading on trial, got into Reading. I'm sure I was about 10 at that point. So
Okay.
I'd only played a couple of years, and joined Reading. Once again, it took a little while to get in because dad working 9 to 5, mum working 9 to 5. Training used to be literally at 5:15, 5:30 on a Tuesday. So you can imagine all the best, getting home, getting changed, then getting across to Sonning from Oxford Roads. So luckily, one of my best friends, Adam Theo, you know Adam, I'm sure?
I think so. I'm probably do. Yeah.
So their mum Tracy used to take me, and I'd have to finish school, jog from my part of the road, Oxford Road, all the way down towards what's the old swimming pool? Central to where they live down there. And they'd taken me for the first 2 or 3 years until my dad and that managed to work out with work.
Hold on a minute, you said you had to jog. I swear you used to live down by Lawn Street.
Further than that, I lived so do you know where Mr. Cortez?
Yeah.
Wantage Road?
Yeah.
Richmond Road is my road. But that was the only way. So literally get home. I could have probably walked, but you know what I'm like with timing. So I'd get home and I'd go probably 3:30, 3:45, and I'd basically had an hour to get there, 45 minutes, and I'd wait until 5 minutes again. I'm like, oh no, shit, I'll go training there. So it was always a jog. Fast walk at the best, but it was usually a jog to get there. Yeah. So that was my intro to football in general. And like I say, I just fell in love with it. Really, it was life anyway, because when you're at the academy, you're there 2-3 times a week and stuff, and then all my friends growing up were in the academy and stuff, so everything we done was football related. So that was me.
Are you the only person who plays football in your family?
As in, like, what, Lewis? As in,
the whole, because your family's really big. So like,
no, well, growing up actually, like, that's another thing that sort of influenced me. So growing up, everyone was into football. Not everyone was obsessed with me. It was more like we played out the front, out the back. They had the team and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, Lawn Street. So Lawn Street days, we'd come out the front, and it was quite a quiet road. So we'd set up and we'd just literally old school play on the road, and we'd be playing football against a garage and stuff. And I was the youngest of the cousins, so you can imagine Neville, Deshima, older cousins from London. They'd come down, and so it was always a battle for me. But yeah, a lot of them. One of my cousins, Tashima, he was good. He played for Charlton when he was younger. And my cousin Ruben played for Reading when he
Okay.
was younger. But a lot of them, they just played to a certain age and then didn't quite work out, and then they just
Mm.
stopped playing. Where, like I say, I could play. I played anywhere. I was
Yeah.
playing football. It did, even if I didn't make it professional, I would have been playing somewhere. It was
Yeah.
a love for the game. So I was
Okay.
just on it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah. So after that, like I said, I got a scholarship. So when I left school, I got a 3-year scholarship
Mm.
where you basically it's like full time. You do a bit of education, you play football. So that's from I left school at 15 because I'm one of the youngest ones, but it's
Okay.
usually 16 that went through to 18, and then they did make a decision where you're going to become a professional or harsh reality get released or whatever. And I was quite lucky, and I got offered a professional
Okay.
contract.
So where do you do your education? Do you stay in the school that you're in and then they release you for football, or is it like?
So when I was there,
Mm.
you go to college. So I went to Crescent Road, which is obviously literally I'm coming from you.
Yeah.
Crescent Roads, and it's the smaller part. So you've got the big massive bit on Kings Road, I think it is.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then the Crescent Road is just literally sports. And at the time, it's sports education, hair and beauty. So all the best of footballers,
Yeah.
hair and beauty girls. He was in there. Yeah, and then a few other things. But yeah, back in them days, you didn't really get much of a choice. They literally said you're doing sports education, which is obviously related to football, and it linked in nicely with the with football. So it was on
Okay.
a 2-day release we used to go for, and then yeah, back into Reading. But I'm sure nowadays they probably thought about it a bit more, where kids can do a lot more different things.
Yeah.
Because like myself, I was quite good at school, so I could have done something different, which would have helped me later in life. But
Yeah.
you just done what you're told at that point, yeah.
So how long did you play for Reading for?
So, like I say, after the scholarship, I got offered a 1-year contract being a professional, and one of my good friends, Louis Saunders. And then after that, I got offered another year contract. So I was 2 years pro at Reading. In the final year, it was a year they got promoted to the Premiership for the first time. So they didn't take on a lot of people because obviously they're looking to get bigger and better players and stuff. So I didn't get offered a contract then. I sort of got paid off at the point, and then I sort of floated around like lower leagues. But it answered your question for how long I played for Reading. So I left at 19, started at 10, so 9 years altogether.
Okay. That must have been upsetting though, that they just kind of like let you go like that.
Do you know, it was a weird one because growing up, I always got told by everyone was pretty negative. Everyone was like, oh, no one ever makes it for Reading. Like, there's been so many people come through the system, like around the way, like you're never going to make it. So even to get a pro contract, a lot of people were surprised, and because not many people had done it before. So I was always quite sort of like, wow, like I made it. Like I didn't expect to make it. So in a weird way, it might have hindered me because I was like one of the ones where I deserved to be there, but I was kind of treated like, oh my god, I'm here, like sort of thing. Where I probably needed to grasp it more by two hands, and it, like you know what I mean, like I deserve to be here. So you then treat people you train with in a different way. Where if you think, oh my god, I'm here, you don't treat them the same way. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So even when I got released after 2 years of being a pro, I never was. It wasn't a situation where it was like, oh no, I've been released, because I always got told you was never gonna make it Ren anyway.
So I don't know if this is a good thing to say or not, but still, in a roundabout way, it sounds like they take advantage of your self-worth. If you're just grateful to be there, then it's like, yeah, cool, don't worry about them.
Yeah, but I think that was more the stigma in Reading. Like, so other players come from different backgrounds, they would have a different attitude. You know what I mean? Sometimes why guys from out of town might make it more. Because if you look at the history of Reading Football Club, not a lot of guys from Reading get through to Reading. If you know what I mean, there's a lot of good football players from Reading, but because there's a stigma of, oh, no one makes it at Reading, it's attitudes that, like I always say to the kids I train now, attitude takes you a lot further than actual ability. You have all the ability in the world, and when I was playing for Reading, I played for England and stuff, so I was one of the best in the country at a certain point. So it weren't a situation where I was there by luck. I obviously had the ability to be there, but mentality, if you don't have the mentality that you are good enough to be there, sometimes you don't always fulfill your potential, if you know what I mean. So I think the mentality, like I'm saying, there's things that I say to my kids now and kids I train, the mentality thing and believing you're good enough and confidence and and just all type of things you do on the mental side of it is just as important as the physical side of it.
But surely that should be part of their job.
Mm, mm,
They've taken you on, they're
mm,
giving you an education, they're
mm,
giving you a spot to grow your abilities.
mm.
Part of your abilities is your mindset, like
Oh
you're
yeah,
saying.
100%. Yeah.
So surely that should also come as part and parcel of the package. They should be giving you that so that you can get that title and that placement that you need
Mm,
to actually put Reading on the map
mm.
using actual Reading people. I know, obviously, if there's not enough players in Reading to make up for, to make a team, then that's a different story. But really,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think it'll get better. It's got better over the years. It'll get better because people realise, and there's all these type of things we're doing
mm,
now where people talk about stuff, so people don't realise what the situation is. Like I say, everyone's got different. Everyone's brought up different. Everyone's just different people. Like you see, my sons. I've got two kids brought up exactly the same. One's absolutely crazy and outgoing,
yeah,
and the other one's a little bit more shy.
yeah,
And they're brought up the same, and I think that's the same with anything. So
mm,
obviously, coaches don't always know what's going on in your head and stuff, and they didn't back in the day. Just go and do it, sort of thing. And they would have thought to themselves, maybe, and they, Simeon, you've been here for years, you've played for England, you're blah blah blah. You always they bigged me up and that.
mm,
So I don't blame them, but I think it was like I say, it was a stigma from stuff you just hear around. Oh, you might make a pro, but you're never going to make it into the first team and stuff. So you
mm,
kind of never believe you're going to make it. Where and I think that belief is massive.
yeah,
And but then, like I say, there's people like myself and there's other coaches around you now who will give kids going forward that extra confidence and say, yeah, you can do it. Like
yeah,
as long as you really believe it and you give it everything, there's a massive chance of doing it. And yeah, like I say, going nowadays, there's a lot more education and
mm.
just different, better coaches and stuff that will help people going further. I think.
So, what do you think about um, mental health in the football industry? Like,
Yeah. I think once again, I think it's got a lot better now because once again, like you say, I could have a lot, and other people did because I've got a lot of friends, which we talked about before we
mm,
started. I've got a lot of friends who play and cousins as well who played football and they were really good, some better than me as well, who played football and when they got released at 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever, they just stopped playing because it was their life, and all of a sudden someone said, you're not good enough. And
yeah,
it killed them so, to the point where they're like, I can't. And also the other thing is a massive drop off. So if you're used to playing with the academy, you play on the best pitches, you go all over the country playing against the best players, you're given free kit, you're given free everything,
mm.
and you're treated like royalty to a certain extent. And then when you get released, you go and play for a normal team, you've got to wash your own kit, your mum's got to pay subs, you got to play on Prospect Park pitches, which is
Oh,
bumpy, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So it's completely different. So it's hard, and I can understand why a lot of people just think
yeah,
I can't take that drop off. So yeah, mentally it's hard. I think it's a little bit better now because there's a lot more other avenues.
yeah,
So there's you might get released from Reading, but you might go to Swindon or Oxford or even little clubs like Bracknell and Farnborough and Reading City, where they're a lot smaller, but they've got better facilities. And back in the day, there was nothing like that. It was literally Reading grassroots.
yeah.
If you're very lucky, you might go to a Basingstoke or something. So there's a lot more opportunities for kids now to stay in a decent level. But yeah,
Okay,
it definitely, yeah, no, it's I can understand it definitely does affect people. The drop off of 1 minute you're a star, next minute you're just
yeah.
never normal guy or kid.
And so we've just talked about we're talking about football. We've talked
Mm-hmm.
about mental health in football. So now I have to ask, what about racism in football?
Yeah.
Like,
So, oh yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I didn't. It wasn't massive. It wasn't massive. I'd experienced it
mm,
massive, but I definitely experienced it. Like, I remember one of the most blatant ones I experienced. I was playing against Bristol City, and it's funny how little things you remember. Like, oh, I'm 36 now, and this probably happened when I was about 15 at the time.
yeah,
And funny enough, I literally just got picked to play for Reading. So like I said, I was 15. That was the first age where I played for England. And I went to play against Bristol, and there was a massive rivals. They were about the same level as us. And I was doing a bit, and one kid said to me, "Oh, f off back to your own country, blah blah blah." Because I'd fouled him or he'd fouled me or something, I don't know. But
yeah,
anyway, we had a disagreement, and he said, "F off back to your own country, blah blah blah." And I said to him, "Mate, I play for your country, so no, I play for this country, so
yeah,
I'm pretty fine." And and that shut him up. Like, what do you say when
yeah.
someone says that to you, sort of thing. But even though I said it quite confidently back to him, in the back of my head,
It's affecting
it
you.
affects you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Sort of thing. So yeah, that was one of the most blatant ones, and we had other little things like even in the youth team, like growing up, there was little things that was said and to people around us, but it was nothing directly to me, or just things you hear. Like it was more youth team. There was nothing like in the first team or anything. It was more youth team.
So back in that moment, did that affect the way you played the rest of the game?
Yes, I think definitely, because I think when someone gets into your head, like you know me, I'm quite a chilled person, laid back and stuff, and sometimes with me, sometimes it could affect me in a weird way positively, because when I'm angry, it gives you a bit more drive.
Yeah.
Some people it can affect them the wrong way, where you think I'm just going to kick him or punch him or something. Where I'm just going to think, now that's it. You peed me off.
Thanks.
And that's it. Now I'm just going to run rings around you, sort of thing. And that was a drive it gave me. But I can imagine, and I've seen it happen to other players where they've said something to someone and they just kicked him. And once again, Bristol was one of the ones that had happened back in our day too. And we do it. Like I say, we'd had a massive rivalry with them, and I see players just get sent off because someone says it to them and they just reacted badly.
Yeah. So do you not think that the players who are making these comments should be sent off?
Oh, 100%. But one thing a referee said to me before, and it weren't just with racism, if he doesn't see or hear something, he can't do it. Like, he might believe you. If he officially didn't see something, like I've had the situation where before someone spat on someone, like the biggest greenie you've ever seen, and the referee could see the spit, but he didn't see the guy spit on someone, so he can't do anything because he's not allowed to say, oh yeah, mate, he spat on me. If I didn't see it, I can't do anything. And of course, I don't think you should just be sent off. I think you should be banned for a certain amount of time and re-educated and stuff or whatever. But with the referees, they're not allowed to do anything.
So obviously it's a bit different in the way you do football and stuff like that now. But when it's on, like, the big UEFA Champions League and all these, you can watch these things back. So surely,
of course. And you see, sometimes you get England goes to these Eastern European countries and these little countries. And you can see the fans doing it. You can see all the stuff. You see the bananas getting thrown on and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then UEFA will fine the country like £10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then someone will take off their shirt and celebrate, and all of a sudden that player's been fined 100 grand sort of thing. It's ridiculous. It sends a message where you can racially abuse someone and it's not that bad. We're just going to fine them. Like, obviously, it was exaggerated to £10. We're going to fine the whole country 50 grand, and then someone celebrates and he takes his t-shirt off and he's got a logo of something, and then he gets fined 100 grand. It shows, what's more important to you, sort of thing. So it is very it's a lot more they can do. And it would be good if it was even playing field and they should send better messages to these countries and to players and stuff as well.
So your academy that you're doing now, is that like a diverse mix of children, I'm assuming?
It is. And that's one of the reasons I set up as well. Like, obviously, you know me, I'm massive in football, but when my daughter Maya and my son Jacob first started, Maya was the first one to get into football, and Right Choice, so the hairdressers, the Caribbean shop, Kruger just started not just started, he'd been doing them for years, and obviously took them along as boys, girls, everyone up in Whitley, and she went there and she loved it. Like, she liked football anyway, but she loved it because of the diverseness of it, because we live in Tylehurst and you go to a school around Tylehurst, Calcutta area, and like same as I went to school, I don't know about you, you go there, there's probably 1 or 2 black kids in your class, sometimes in your school. So then to go and play football. And we went to Whitley, and it was 70% black kids, Asian kids, white kids, mixed race kids, everything. It was a massive mixture. And for them, like, both of my kids, they're like, wow, sort of thing. And they didn't say anything, but I could see they're like, wow, and they loved it, sort of thing. And that was it. Every Friday, they're buzzing to go there and stuff. And then that's what it gave me the idea to do it. And it wasn't a situation where I thought, right, I'm going to start Essex Academy just for diverseness. It just happened when it happened. It was diverse because you attract, as well, your friends obviously are going to be people you know, and they're going to tell people they know. And so now if you come to one of our sessions, there'll be 20, 25 kids, and it is a diverseness. There's obviously black, white, Asian, boys, girls, but it's a lot more nationalities or races there. And so the kids enjoy it, because I've got a cousin who lives in Wokingham, and he's the same situation where it's majority, the school he goes to is majority white and stuff. And you think kids don't notice these, but they do notice it. And obviously there's no race in that age, but it's just nice to see people like yourself. So
Yeah.
when they come to train on a Monday and sees another 7, 8 black kids where he's used to go to school, he's usually seen one in the whole school. I think it's just nice to see people like yourself, sort of thing. And then for other races as well, it's nice to see it's nice for them to see other races as well. And that. So yeah, I think the boys love it. Like I was saying to you earlier, we started in mid-October, and I didn't care if it was 5, 6 kids. It was for my son, obviously, and for the community.
Yeah.
And I think the first session we had about 20, 21 kids, and 21 kids, and then ever since it's been minimum 25 kids every single session, and what we are now May, and it's never been below 20, it is good.
That's good, yeah. So how do you think you will teach the children in your groups how to manage like these situations? Obviously it'd be good to know that there wasn't going to be any racism anymore, but how?
Obviously, always will be.
Yeah.
I think it's human nature. Racism's never ever going to go. As long as there's different races, there's always going to be racism there. Like people are the way they are, sort of thing. But if it ever happened in my classes, especially as they're so young, you definitely have to nip it in the bud, and I'd try and get them to whoever was involved, try and get them to go. I might even bring them all together and just try and explain, like, everyone's different, but we're all friends here, we're all family. Like, it's just because sometimes people get angry and they just blurt stuff out. It might be that with kids, but they might have heard it from their parents back home.
Yeah.
Because you're not at that age, you shouldn't even be thinking about colour. Like if someone's angered you for whatever reason, you might shout at them, but there's no reason to bring colour. So yeah, I would definitely try and educate them there and then on the spot. Might probably speak to their parents as well and just see if it's something that's happened at home or if they get it from school. But I wouldn't just pretend it didn't happen. Like sometimes I think back in the day when situations happen, people didn't want to address it. They just pretend it didn't happen. Like I'd always say straight away. Like if anything happened, like I do one-to-one training as well. And I think if kids ever say anything out of line to me, I'll nip it in. Whether you're my kid or not, I'll nip it in the bud there and then. And if it gets too bad, I'll say to their parent, like, look, so and so's saying doing a bit too much, saying a bit much. And I think that way it gets addressed and it helps situations. If there's nothing said, people are just going to keep doing it, aren't they?
Yeah, bringing back some action to the meaning. It takes a village to raise a child.
100%. Yeah, exactly. I think people respect you more if you say something. If you just let it lie, they're just going to say, "Oh, this guy's not different." We just keep doing it, and they think they'll get away with it. So, and I think that's one thing I've noticed in the sessions since I started. I always try, because growing up in the West Indian background, Italian, like when I've coached or when I've been coached outside of Reading, I always used to go to. There's a guy called Nevada who used to train me, and he's very strict, and I respect him for that. And if he says jump, we like how high. If he says go get that ball, we sprint to go and get it, and that's what he expects, and you respect him for that. So I'm not nowhere near as strict as him, but I try and enforce a level of strictness to the kids, even though some of them are like 4. And I think that I definitely know they respect me for it, because one of my coaches was saying, notice because when you say come in, all of them sprint. There's usually one little, when you do a younger training session, there's always 1 or 2 dawdling on the corner and they're just ignoring you or whatever. When you say come in, every single one of them sprints in, and then they'll stand there with their foot on the ball. And I think not just football, it's good for discipline, and it will help them in later in life as well. So that's one thing I think is good.
Do you have anyone with additional needs?
So I don't know, as in none of their parents have said to me. Like we do have some who definitely from visually seem like they might have ADHD, or they just take it. They struggle to concentrate, or whatever. But I think sport always helps in situations. We've got some kids who it's not an issue, but some people are really shy. For example, I've had parents when they first started said to me, look, he's going to struggle. I might have to come and stand with him. I'm like, yeah, you can if you want, but 9 times out of 10, most kids who've come within a week, they're fine. They don't even notice it. And one of my cousin won't mind me saying that his son, he said he's really, really shy, and he was struggling to interact and stuff. And he said if the session isn't on for Monday for whatever reason, he'll say, Dad, call Sim, we need to do it. He loves it. He gets there. He's the first one there. You'd never think he's shy. He's bubbly and stuff. And I think it's just being around other kids sometimes
Yeah.
helps the environment.
So that's interesting that you said your cousin said like when he's saying to his dad, oh, we need it to be on. So like usually when you think of like mentors, you usually assume that they're there for children who have absent fathers or don't have male role models. Obviously, this isn't the case here, so this just goes to show it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about the surroundings, the situation, and the different people and the way they come across and manage people and situations.
Oh yeah, 100%. So as I was saying as well, I do one-to-one training. So obviously I've got the Essex Academy Juniors is a group session or whatever, and I do one-to-one training. So it's more focused on then taking someone's technical ability to make them better footballers, whatever. And my cousin was just talking about then, like when he first started, he was like, "Oh, should I get my son into one-to-ones first, just to get his technical ability up before we start the training session?" I said to him, "Nah." I goes, for his age, it'd be better for him to do group training because it'll be more. It's all more about interaction with the other kids. And for me, noticing it when kids play with other kids and they see other kids playing, it makes them want to play. Where if with the one-to-one training, it's just me and them, so it's very serious and stuff. Like, yeah, okay, I'll make them a better player.
Yeah.
But I think with the group training, they enjoy it more, so they want to do what other kids are doing. So if some kids smash on the top corner, they're like, I want to do that. If we're playing bulldog and someone is chasing them, they love being chased or whatever, and that's what makes them come back more than the actual football. I think they just enjoy the interaction, and then they see the discipline side of it. They see 25 kids are listening, so I better listen as well. They don't want to be the kid on like, right, Tom, go and sit over there. They don't want to be that kid, and I think that's what helps them more than not just me. It's the whole environment.
Yeah. So you said about bulldog. I'm guessing you play that for like running abilities and things like that.
Yeah, I think as well with kids, when they're doing something they enjoy, they forget about everything. So the bulldog was just supposed to be the first few weeks ago, and like I'm bored of bulldog, but they live for it. And if a couple of weeks I've tried to say no, and not say no. I've tried to just move on to football. They're like, oh, bulldog, where's bulldog? So I have every week I do. We have to do bulldog because. And I think I've noticed. I think it makes them just forget about everything. They forget their mum and dad's on the side. They forget there's some of them 4, some of them are 8. They just running and being chased. And obviously, it's like you're pretending to try and catch them. I'm like, oh, I'm going to catch you, and you don't quite catch them. And they think they can run faster than me and stuff. And they just love it. We play it for like 5 minutes, but for a lot of them, I think that's their highlight of the whole session. They literally live for bulldog. We play. So it's just Squid Games has taken over it, but I don't know. Red light, green light, was that what it was called back in the day?
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
What's the time? So I think Squid Games has changed it. So we play red light, green light.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny when I first started doing it. I didn't do it because of Squid Games. I was doing it because
it was what you knew.
Yeah, red light, green light. So they were, what, Squid Games? Squid Games. I was like, no, that's not Squid Games. We're playing red light, green light, and it's a good technical thing. And once again, like I'll try and disguise some things where it's football related, but it's fun, so they don't realise I'm teaching them a skill. So they'll each individually have a football, and I'll say green light, so they have to dribble. Then I'll say red light, and they have to stop. Okay. And obviously, if they can't control the ball, they don't stop. So that means they're out. Yeah. And obviously, then they're thinking, right, I need to stop the ball because I don't want to be out, sort of thing. So they're practicing so obviously we're practicing their dribbling, and we're practicing their control of the ball, or whatever. And then I'll say green light, but you've got to get to the other end within 5 seconds. So then they practice their speed of dribbling, but then you've got to stop on the line. So you've got to run fast and stop the ball now. But they don't realise that I'm teaching them skills. They just think they're playing a game, sort of thing. So
that's really
it's
good.
all that type of stuff helps them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's just
So I interviewed an athletics coach recently, and she was saying about because she used to start up an academy on the side of Reading Athletics, to bring in the young ones, because she said the young ones these days they don't have the same basic skills and coordination that we all grew up learning how to do, because now everyone's just sat in front of TV and stuff like that. Like obviously, but it sounds like she did say like they start football young and they get all of those skills. So like, do you think like? Well, no, sorry. The other thing she said was about if you start out with athletics training as well, like it can help in other sports.
Definitely. Like I think the more someone can do, the more variety of skills they have, and it'll be better for them. So, for example, the kids who then go on, push on, like you'll get into academy and stuff. There isn't all technical football ability. They're more they might have good agility, they might have good power, etc. And like it's like your athletics coach was saying, you were just saying, is back in our day, like me and your brother Neville and stuff, when we were kids, we would ride everywhere. Like we would ride literally everywhere. It was ridiculous with the distances and places we got to. We didn't realise we were doing fitness training because trust me, if I ride a bike now, I know I'm doing fitness training. Back then I didn't know. I'm going up hills, I'm not even changing gear and that. So when I then went into football, because like I said, I don't think a lot of the kids I was in the academy with were probably riding like I was riding. So when I'm going to football and I'm gliding past people, especially when I was younger, 12, 13 and stuff, and they're thinking, sheesh, what an athlete, how's he doing it?
Yeah.
It probably was due to riding because, like I say, riding, they say, is one of the best fitnesses. So Lance Armstrong, take away that he's a drugs cheat, was the fittest man in the world. Obviously, he was a rider and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you go and do riding now, you'll realise how much fitness it is, like in the powers in your quads and your thighs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Once again, swimming's really good. Sprinting is good for coordination and technique and that. And if you're doing all them type of things, it'll bring it into your sport.
Yeah, because one thing I have noticed, because as you know, Tyrone was into athletics.
Yeah.
So whilst I was at the track, I did notice that a lot of footballers do get sent to come to training.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that to help with the speed and stuff on the pitch?
Yeah, so you know Jermaine, obviously, his daughter does it, but he obviously he loves running. Yeah. He tries to get his son in it. And yeah, of course, because you can make a living in football just from being fast. So if you can learn how to run and be fast, that will take you far. Like there's some football coaches will take speed and agility over footballing ability anyway, because they think you can have loads of skill, but you probably teach someone to tackle someone with skill. If you can't catch someone, you can't catch someone. So if someone's fast, there's nothing you can do about it. So having amazing speed is one of the most sought after skills football coaches look for. So yeah, definitely having athletics is massive for people in football, definitely. Like, cause I've seen players who were technically amazing, they could do all the skills in the world, but they couldn't run, and they never went anywhere because they couldn't run. So yeah, with speed and running, is very, very, very important.
Cool. So another thing I was thinking about is you were saying earlier about parents paying subs and things like that. With the cost of everything in the world, basically, growing up at the moment, do you think that sports are going to be affected by these kinds of things?
Yeah, I think naturally, if your purse strings are pushed, which they are, fill up my car on the way here. But you're gonna cut things out that aren't necessities. Like obviously, you know your kid, you're good for him to play football, whatever. But if you cannot afford, you've got to choose, for example, between eating and then your kid going football. Kid can't go football, and anyone will do it. So with us, we've been helped out by Reading Football Community Club, and they subsidise us so we don't pay a lot for the facilities we use. So then I pass it on. So instead of thinking, right, I'm going to make loads of money, I pass it on to the people we train. So we charge them next to nothing, sort of thing. Yeah. So I can't imagine it would affect them. They would never have to choose between, even if times are hard, they wouldn't have to choose ours is there'll be no club you'd find anywhere near as reasonable as what we charge for our sessions.
And so earlier we talked about sport and mental health in the football field, but actually, and you were saying just now that obviously you have to pick what's more important, but also again, going back to mental health, surely sports is also beneficial for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think anyone who does exercise, you could have a bad day or something can happen. And sometimes, very rarely nowadays, but sometimes I'll come from work and I feel really tired and it's just been a long day, and I'll go and do some exercise. And when I come back, I feel mentally better, I feel physically better, and also I've got more energy as well. And that's it with sport. Back when I was playing, even the semi-pro days near the end of my career type thing, I'd come home from work and I'd do a 12-hour shift or whatever, and then I'd go to play football, and when I'd finish football, sometimes 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, even when I started work at 6 in the morning, I hadn't been home, I'd feel better after finishing football than I did when I finished work. You know what I mean? So I'd do work from 6 in the morning to 4 p.m. and feel absolutely shattered, but I now drive straight to football, and then I'd play football from whatever time, maybe, and I might have to go to Birmingham or something. But as soon as I finish that match at 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'd feel fresh and I'd feel energetic and I'd feel, just because I've done sport, and I'd feel in a good place.
Okay.
Because that's what it does to you, sort of thing. And we all know that, and even now I say that, and I don't do as much as I probably should do, because you sat there and think I've got no energy. But if you do get up and go and do some exercise, it makes you feel, there must be something it releases. It makes you feel better, because it is 100% true.
So is all the exercise you do football related?
I do swimming, because I had a knee injury, and the guy said to me he had a choice of either doing have an operation, or he said if you do swimming and then build up your knee muscles, you might have a chance to carry on playing football, or just have a normal life without having an operation and that. And I took a year out of football, and I just literally done a lot of swimming and built up my knee, and my knee's been perfect ever since. In fact, I probably play more football now than I did when I was 35 years ago. So so now I try and do a little bit of swimming now and go to the gym. You
sound like you bounced back quite well. Like, again, like, was that not a knock for your mental health? Like,
it's definitely, because obviously I've always done it. Like I've always played football, even when it was like when I stopped playing football professionally and semi-pro. I still played like Sundays like with friends and stuff. So when I couldn't play for, I think it was about a year or so, that was hard, because it's just I remember just walking around kicking stones. Like, this is painful, and Sophie's like, but it is what it is. I knew if you can't do it, you can't do it, sort of thing. And I tried to get. That's when I tried to get the boys and Maya into it a bit more. And obviously that took my focus off myself into them, and obviously it worked nicely for them.
Cool. So what other things do you do for yourself?
So to be fair, it's taken up more with the kids nowadays. So they do, obviously, apart from school and stuff, they do their sport and extracurricular activities. But it's more kids. Obviously, got 3. I've got 2 boys and a girl. So there's not a lot of time after that, really and truly. So that's it. Like Jacob plays for Reading, so he trains 3 times a week and a match on a Sunday. And then Maya trains once a week, and then the academy is on the Monday. So I think the only day I don't do football is a Friday. And I do one-to-ones on a Saturday as well. So literally, the only day I don't do something football related is a Friday at the moment.
Okay. So where can we find your academy, and how do we get involved?
Okay, so it's based at Reading Academy Dome. So it's opposite the Daisy Stadium. So,
okay.
So it's literally, if you can find Daisy Stadium, it's there. I'd have to tell you the postcode and stuff later on, but if everyone in Reading will know where the Daisy Stadium is. Once you find that, you find the dome in there. It's on a Monday from 5 till 6. Session starts at 5:10, but I always say it's so people, you can get there from 5 o'clock. So while I'm sitting up, they run around, play, kick a ball about, and just socialise and stuff. And I think once again, for the kids, some of them, that's probably their favourite part of the session. They just have 10 minutes where they're just running around, laughing and joking, kicking the ball around, and then 10 past, quarter past, that's when we get going.
And how old do you have to be?
So it's ideally from the ages of 4 to 7. So it's like, obviously, it's a introduction into football. Most of the people there never played for a team before.
Okay.
So age reception up till year 2, ideally.
Okay. So is there any other, like, so once you've reached 7, where would you go after that?
So because we've just started. We've got a few people coming to that age group now who are 7, and they're going to obviously going on to 8. So we have got space, and because it was a situation where I never really had a plan. If I admit, I never had a plan for what they're going to do when they become 7. There's a few options which I'm going to suggest to them now. Some of them I've got other links where they can then join a team if they want to. Some of them, they enjoy it so much they're not going to want to join a team. So we've got enough coaches now, so we will have an age group where the 7-year-olds up until 8 or 9, they'll have a section and it's big enough for them to still carry on. So it's a conversation that's going to happen in maybe September when the older group reach that age, and we'll see what happens. But like I say, ideally it's introduction, and once you get to 7 or 8, I'll find a team for you. I know lots of people in Reading.
Yeah.
I know that they're crying out for, because that's the age when you really join a team. So people are crying out for people, and they should be ready to then go in to a proper team.
Lovely.
or official team.
So also, you mentioned earlier that you played for England. Have you played for any other teams?
Yeah, so when I was 15, I got selected to play for England. That was England schoolboys. So I played for them under 15s, under 16s, and then a couple of years later, I played for them under 18s.
Mm.
My little name drop when I was under 15s, I played with Wayne Rooney in the first
Oh, nice.
first team for the first game. Sorry, so you might remember like that was. It's on Sky Sports way back.
I think so.
Way back. I think I'm still on VHS somewhere.
VHS.
Exactly. And then so I dislocated my shoulder when I was about 18, and so I didn't play football for about a year.
Oh.
And then my agent, I changed an agent and he was from Jamaica and stuff, and he for some reason, I don't know, he did if I was going to get back into England, and he was like, it might help my chances to play some international football. He thought I might be quicker to get into the first team and stuff. And obviously my family from Jamaica and some of Asian, so he said, "Why would you be interested in going and playing for Jamaica, switching allegiances?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you think it would help me, and all I want to do is become a footballer. So if you think that's going to help me, I obviously love Jamaica. I used to go there with my dad when we were younger as well. So yeah, of course. I switched to Jamaica and got put. I think I was about 17. No, I was about 17 at the time, and I got pushed straight into under 23s. So
here or actually in
Jamaica? Actually, in Jamaica, yeah. So you had to go to Jamaica. So at a point I was going to Jamaica like 4 times a year because you'd go there and play matches and stuff. Go there for training camps, and I played in the qualifications to get into the Olympics. For under 23s. Where I went to Mexico, Cuba, and loads of places to play in the matches and that. Whatever. So that was good. Played them for a couple of years, and that was a great experience, especially that I'd never been abroad on my own before. Let alone going to Jamaica. And I was in Kingston, like proper.
How was that? Everyone talks about Kingston and says, "Oh, it's scary."
It was scary.
Oh, it was.
Especially the first couple of times, like it really is. I've been to Ocho and Montego Bay, and that's where everyone goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
St Anne's as well, like where my dad's family are from. But going to Kingston at first, especially like a 7-year-old kid who never really been anywhere, or been places with the family and stuff, but never been on my own properly. So it was an experience in that. But once I've been a couple of times, it was cool.
But you had family out there, I'm guessing, that took you to the.
No. I went with my agent. So luckily my agent came out.
Right,
He had other people he brought out. So I think there was 4 of us. It was him and a guy from Bolton and a guy from Peterborough went out there. Okay. And then we met the team out there. But they had like I want to say like a mansion basically.
Yeah.
It was in the heart of Kingston, and it's just like the whole team would live in it, and you just train there and then go to matches and stuff. And it was different because it was obviously professional because it was international, but it was still, because Jamaica's not the same as England. It was still very different. It was very more self-sufficient. Yeah. So I felt like I even had. How to say it? Like, so at Reading, they probably done more for you than when you was at Jamaica. You kind of had to do it a bit more yourself. Yeah. At Jamaica, and that's when they say football's a bit like mollycoddled and stuff. So when you're there, you're expected to do a little bit more. But it was good. It was a good experience. It made me grow up, and that. And it was eye opening. I obviously enjoyed the football and going all over the place and representing my country. It was nice.
And how was it playing in the different climates?
So that was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. We went to the hottest place we went was Cuba, because when we was in Jamaica, we'd train at 6 in the morning, and then we'd come home and chill, and we'd train again at like 6 in the evening. What? Because it was too hot to train in the afternoon. Like you're dying. Yeah. Sort of thing. And in Cuba, we had a match at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was, I don't even know what the temperature was, but I came off a half time, I couldn't breathe. Like I was dripping with sweat, and all the other Jamaican guys were cool. They were sweating, they were cool. Yeah. I'm thinking, right, I'm quite fit. What's going on? And my manager was like, "You're playing like you're in England." So I'm 17. I'm not experienced, and I know one way of playing. I'm like an energizer battery. I'm running everywhere, and like where the Jamaican guys, they're used to playing Jamaica. They're used to playing in the hot heat, so they're a bit more relaxed. They get the ball, they move it, and they do this. So I'm just running. It's too hot to do that. You can't run like that. Yeah. In Cuba. So I had to come off that first game, but then I realised that when it's 35, 40 degrees, you can't run around like you're in England and that. So but like I say, all them type of things were good things to learn.
Yeah. And so another thing you mentioned was that you were really good in your education. So
Yeah.
what do you think you would have done if you didn't play football?
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's a good one. But so yeah, when I was at school, like everyone used to say accountant actually, because I was I was like the top group. So it's a mad one. So in school you have the top group of maths.
Yeah.
In our school, I went to English Martyrs, blessed you Farringdon. We had an express group of maths. So it was a top group, then there was a group above it.
Wow.
And I was in that group, and maths. My mum was quite good at maths, and everyone I speak to, even not to my family, but I know it was a football thing. So quite a lot of football said quite like football and quite like maths and everything. But I just happened to be quite good at maths, whatever. And I'd done my GCSEs a year early, so I'd done my GCSEs in year 10. I think I got a B in year 10, but then because obviously I thought I was going to be the next Ronaldo, I only got a B in year 11. So everyone else in my class got A plus. I still got a B, but if I applied myself a bit more, I probably would have got an A in maths in year 11 because whatever. So yeah. I probably would have done something along the lines of that accountancy or something, whatever. Whether I would have enjoyed it, who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say because you're saying you're good at maths, but do you like?
No, as I say, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it, but that's the lines I probably would have went along because it's what everyone was saying. That's your skill. And like I say, you know, if you find it nowadays, people go uni and they do something because they're good at it, but do they enjoy it? Like, I'm not the type of person who can sit still. So whether I could sit in office every day.
Yeah, that's a different question.
Who knows? The other thing I quite enjoyed was, and I did think about doing it, was physiotherapy. So it's something that might have been something I might have looked at to be a physio, because I quite enjoyed the looking at the body and then you can relate it to sport. So yeah, something I think if I could choose, maybe physiotherapy, maybe.
Okay. And finally, who are you inspired by?
Who's my inspirations? So my favourite player growing up was Andy Cole. That was the reason I support Man United. So he was at Newcastle when I was a kid, and then he got bought by Man United for $7 million. So I went along with him, and that. So it's like a black guy scoring those goals in the Premiership when I was a kid, and I was inspired by him. I remember all my friends. It used to like Ian Wright, but I was Andy Cole. But yeah, no, for me it's more my dad, my uncle Neil as well. They're the people who I looked up to growing up, and I just thought they were just, you think good, solid men. Like they like my dad ran his own business from young, from when I remember. He had the
mechanics,
mechanics, the shop down in Aunty Road, and I always thought that's something I'd want to do. Like just work for yourself. I always think get what you want, go leave when you want. Yeah, you make more money and stuff. So and he's also a good family man. He like looks after his immediate family, his wider family. He's always a good guy, man. Like I remember days with driving down the motorway and someone would be on the side and he'd pick him up, and I'm like, Dad, why are you picking up this random guy, man? In the car, we'd be walking down the road, someone's broken down, he'd stop and help him and stuff. And then my Uncle Neil's the same. He's the type of person who helps everyone. He's a religious man. So yeah, they're my two guys who I'd say role models more than any celebrities or anything.
Yeah, and it's good because some people have good parents and don't see or appreciate that.
Yeah.
So me personally, knowing your dad myself as well, it's good to see that you can see that he's got.
He does. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you can't. It's hard not to, but yeah, some people, like you say, some people don't appreciate what's right in front of them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sim, for joining us. Thank you for the interview. Yeah. Maybe you can come back again another time.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the end of the Your Voice in Power Hour.
Nice.
If you would like your voice to be heard on the Your Voice in Power Hour, then why not get in touch with me at myvoiceinpower@outlook.com.